Did you call in or?
No, I did it through the web.
Okay, let me call them and see if I can get you on. One moment. Good evening, excuse me, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Paterson Board of Adjustment meeting of Thursday, January 27, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. via webinar session. This meeting is a virtual meeting this evening, and I am Margarita Vega, your board secretary this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The notice requirement of the Open Public Meeting Law has been satisfied with respect to this meeting, specifying the time, date, and location included in the annual notice adopted at the reorganization meeting of the board, filed with the city clerk of the city of Paterson, posted in City Hall, and mailed to at least 2 newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the law. Chairman Paxton, may I proceed with the roll?
Go ahead.
Commissioners, Commissioner Barat, are you present, sir?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Present.
Commissioner Furman?
Present.
Commissioner Minauro? Watkins?
Present.
Commissioner Arenas?
Present.
Commissioner Vega?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Rohim?
Yes.
And Chairman Gerald Daxton.
Present.
We have 9 commissioners in attendance this evening. I will read now the agenda into the record. Today, Thursday, January 27th, 2022. Notice pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act addressing effect of coronavirus measures on the next public meeting, consistent with the coronavirus-related restrictions of Executive Order Number 107, given on Saturday, March 21st, 2020, by Governor Philip D. Murphy. The Board of Adjustment of the City of Paterson will not conduct in-person participation of the public at all future meetings until further notice. However, public participation will be available by means of communication equipment pursuant to NJSA 10-4-8, commencing on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. Though there may potentially be a practical need for a limited number of administrative, technical, or other city personnel to be present in or near the City Council chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, in-person participation of the public is prohibited. Nevertheless, for reasons of compliance with the said Executive Order Number 107, public participation will be available by calling 1-973-321-1579. Meeting ID number 711-680-0071. On the date and time that the meeting is scheduled to commence, the public may also participate in the meeting by accessing the website of the City of Paterson, www.patersonnj.gov. The first case is 151-159 Crooks Avenue, LLC, 149-161 Crooks Avenue, Block 7008, Lots 1, 2, 25, and 26. Also 149-161 Crooks Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 2. Also 510-516 Getty Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 1. Also 150 Knickerbocker Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 25, and 510-518 Getty Avenue, Block 7008, Lot 26. This application is for reconsideration for an application that was denied on June 29th, 2020 to construct a new 9-story building with ground floor and surface parking. One moment, everyone. Excuse me. The applicant proposes the story building with ground floor and surface parking. The applicant proposes building on block 7008 lot 1, which is 107 feet by 80 feet. Lot 2, 150 by 100 feet. Lot 25, 25 by 100 feet. And lot 26, 43.1 by 100 feet, with a combined lot of 30,370 square feet. The applicant proposes 7 retail spaces on the first floor, on-site parking on the second, third, and fourth floors, 6 one-bedroom residential units with 11 two-bedroom residential units on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and 9th floors, totaling 92 units. The applicant proposes 9 stories, whereas 3 stories is required. The applicant proposes 95 feet of building height, whereas 35 feet is required in the R2 zone, and 40 feet is required in the B2 zone. The applicant proposes 808 square feet of usable open space, whereas 19,750 square feet is required. The applicant proposes 0 feet of front yard setback on Getty Avenue, whereas 20 feet is required. The applicant proposes 1 feet of front yard setback on Knickerbocker Avenue, whereas 20 feet is required. The applicant proposes, hold on a moment. The applicant proposes 0 feet of side yard setback, whereas 4 feet is required in the B2 zone. Proposed is a floor area ratio of 3.3, whereas 2.0 is required. Also, the applicant proposes 238 on-site parking spaces of the 208 that are required. This is for use bulk site plan, D variances, and Passaic County Planning Board review. This is in an R2 zone, low medium density residential district, and B2 community business district. Is the applicant present?
Applicant's present and ready, Madam Secretary.
Thank you very much. The next case is Donnelly Industries Incorporated, 188-190 Pacific Street, Block 5409, Lot 1. This is an application for reconsideration that was denied on May 21st, 2020, to demolish a 2-story residential building and then build a 3-story low-rise 8-unit building on a 5,000 square foot lot. The first floor will contain the 8 covered parking spaces. The second and third floor will consist of one bedroom and 3 two-bedroom apartments. There will be a total of 4 apartments on the second floor and 4 apartments on the third floor, for a total of 8 apartments. The applicant is providing 8 spaces of the 12 spaces required in the front yard setback. These variances are bulk D variances and site plan in an Area 11 R2 zone. Is the applicant present?
Applicant President, this is going to be a withdrawal of the reconsideration request. The revised plans are being amended to reflect, hopefully, full compliance with the redevelopment zone requirements as it pertains to the variances that are required. So this is a withdrawal without prejudice at this time.
Thank you. We'll address this after the agenda has been read into the record. The next application is MI Enterprise Group LLC. This was carried from November 8th, 2021 meeting. The address is 49-53 Mercer Street, Block 3006, lots 19 and 20. This is an application to demolish a 2-family dwelling and construct a 3-story residential building with 6 one-bedroom apartments and 6 two-bedroom units, totaling 12 units on a 7,205 square foot lot. The first floor will consist of a 1,879 square foot recreation area, 21 parking spaces, and the apartment vestibule. The second and third floors will each consist of 3 one-bedroom apartments. The applicant is providing 21 parking spaces of the 23 parking spaces that are required. These are for use bulk and site plan in an R2 zone, which is considered low-medium density residential district. Is the applicant present?
Applicant President, ready to proceed with amended plans pursuant to the earlier hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maricondo. And lastly, the application is Foreman Ali Property Management, carried from November 18th, 2021 meeting. The address is located at 98-102 Sherwood Avenue and 106-110 Sherwood Avenue, Block 1303, lots 22 and 23. This is an application to combine two existing buildings with a pathway, demolish a portion of the building for parking, convert one building into a cafe and storage. The applicant proposes to demolish a portion of the building on block 1303, lot 23, for 2 parking spaces and then renovate the building to be a cafe and storage. The applicant proposes to build a 375 square foot storage shed for refuse and recycling. The applicant is proposing to connect the building and install an interior doorway and hallway to connect the buildings. The applicant is providing 13 parking spaces of the 29 parking spaces that are required. These variances are usable in site plan in an R2 zone, which is considered low-medium density residential district. Chairman and Commissioners, I did receive an email from the attorney requesting an adjournment, and we will discuss this when you are ready. Chairman Dexter, you may continue with the meeting, sir.
Since we're on that item, let's deal with that. Thank you.
The application for Foreman Ali Property Management, 98-102 Sherwood Avenue,
Yes.
I received an email from the attorney Marissa Escura Dubial Esquire, dated January 20th, 2022 at 2:45 p.m. And the email states as follows: I am sending this email to request an adjournment of the above referenced Board of Adjustment application scheduled for January 27th, 2022, in order for my architect to complete the revisions of the site plan. This application will be carried to February 24th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. And she waives the statutory time requirements on this application, Mr. LaRocca.
That, you got the new date already at 2:24?
Yes, I do, sir.
Alright, so
What?
I'm sorry.
Chairman? No. Chairman, what-
Commissioner Monaro, Chairman.
Chairman
Go
Taxman,
ahead. I'm listening.
why hasn't that been said on this thing?
What?
Shouldn't we
Right.
decide?
This is her first adjournment.
But Maggie, this was carried, right, correct, from 11/18, and
Because already-
that's what the reason was back then?
Give me one moment, please.
Yeah, the dates of, like, for instance, the Crooks Avenue, if you read that it was presented in June, we heard that case in December. Why is it not?
Commissioner Barak, could you just handle one case at a time, please?
Okay, all right.
This application, Mr. LaRocca, she came in front of the board. I'm trying to find a date. It was November 18th. But she has come back for this date. But apparently, with the information that was given to her by Mr. Paparazzi, as you know, she wants to make sure everything's correct. So she's sending me revised plans.
So I understand it was on in November.
Yes.
In November, Carrie made suggestions and it
Yes.
adjourned in the middle of the meeting. Was there testimony? I don't have the file for me.
There is no testimony.
No, there's no testimony. It was, she did ask for an adjournment back in November.
What
And
was
we
the reason
granted
for the
it.
adjournment in November?
I'll have to pull that. Mr. Paparazzi, do you have anything in front of you that you can address as the planner?
Well, Chairman and Commissioners, my report says that the parking spaces required is 50, and 13 are proposed. And their application says 29 are required, which is incorrect. So, I assume that's why she, adjourned it back then, but I also thought it would have been addressed by now. But it certainly, my report, which is dated 11/13/2021, says that 50 parking spaces are required and 13 are proposed, not 29 required.
As far as I understand, Mr. LaRocca and Chairman Jackson,
Hold on a second, Mike. So Gary, there's been no further reports, no further discussions, no further requests or concerns since November?
Not to me, no.
Thank you.
I didn't get any revised plans, and if this is carried, please let the attorney know, that they should be, emailed directly to me, so I can do a report at ASAP, so it doesn't get lost in City Hall, you know, but, I know Mr. Mariconda knows that, so, I'm not sure this is not his application, so please let the attorney or the applicant know that.
she is aware, I did speak to her,
Okay.
and I did explain to her that this would be the date, and she must be prepared, and it is up to you, commissioners, to withdraw it at that time.
Chairman,
We have a date for the 24th?
I just put her on,
Alright.
February 24th.
February or March, May?
February 24th, 2022, at 7:30 p.m.
I think Commissioner Manara has a question?
correct. Marco, do you, the way just efficient, we have so many applications. We've already done this, now this is the second time. Do you think that there is a possibility for us to put in that motion to withdraw the application already? Just because we've already seen them twice, and twice we've had to do the same thing.
So, look, Maggie, the date that you gave them, how many applications are on that?
What date? On this date,
February 24th.
there are 3, which we usually do. That's it, 3 cases.
So Commissioner, there's a couple different things you guys could do. The first one is you could, if you want, make the application to withdraw and have them not come back. I feel a little uncomfortable because they're not physically here on the Zoom, and I think they already were given the date, so I'm not exactly comfortable with that, although you can do it, they're not ready. I'm also not comfortable though, Maggie, with a February date, because if the plans aren't in yet, and Gary hasn't had a chance to review the date, I don't see how February 24th is a realistic date, if the plans are gonna be in 10 days in advance, this is gonna go forward. So
I understand, she,
Yeah, hold on, just let me talk. I think another option, Commissioner, is we could push them out further out. I don't know that they should go ahead of other applications that are ready to go, when we know this one's not ready to go, right? And quite frankly, I don't know that, I don't know how far along they are with any revisions. But, February 24th is around the corner, plans have to be in time for Gary to review it. They have to be in advance for the, to have an opportunity to review it. So the other option is to put it out a little further. The third
Maggie,
option.
Commissioner Taxon?
Maggie,
excuse me,
hold on a second.
can I, just do something really quickly? Mr. LaRocca, finish your thought, because you have a third thought, and then, I will have the chairman address it.
The third option is to, you can leave it for the February 24th date, but make it up, mark it that it's not moved that night. And when I say not moved, not because the board can't get to it or reach it, or something happens in the midst of the meeting, we heard half of it and it continues, but if it's not ready that evening, then it gets dismissed that evening. The problem with that though is, it still takes a spot, something else that might be ready.
Correct.
So,
I agree, and I suggest to the commissioners and Chairman Thaxton, I think, to make everybody comfortable with this, let's move it to March 24th, 2022, which will give her ample time, and even Gary.
Commissioner Baxter,
Maybe, yes.
Commissioner Baralta, I mean, these people have been given 2 months to come up with, correcting, the situation. And they have done nothing. We're at the same place that we were. So what is giving them 2 months, 2 additional months gonna do? They're liable to come back with the same thing, I think, and this is going on twice. I they should go back to the end of the list.
Well, maybe,
There is no list, unfortunately, I can
24,
can do April,
go ahead, May.
it's up to you, I can do April 14th.
Maggie, let's do it this way. Give them to March the 24th. If they're not ready by then we'll dismiss it without prejudice. That's it.
I will make a notation and a censure, excuse me,
Nice.
what? I heard,
Excuse me?
I don't know, I'm hearing someone in the background, I'm not sure. Anyway, Formulae Property Management, 98-102 Sherwood Avenue, will be carried to March 24th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. I will make sure that she understands this, the attorney and the applicant, that if it doesn't proceed that day, it is up to all of you commissioners to make a vote for withdrawal.
Well, hold on, I think before we even do that, Gary, how far in advance do you need the plans for you to be able to review them, to be prepared?
Marco, usually like 5 days is okay, because.
Well, 5 days is not okay,
No.
because it's not in
No.
the city on time.
By law, it has to be here 10 days. If you allow, and I'm sorry to interject here, but I'm the one that deals with this.
Just hold on, Mac, just hold, please back. Yeah, my suggestion is that we give it a date, that they have the plans to you, you have the opportunity to be satisfied that they're satisfactory. We provide the attorney with that date, giving them ample time, but also giving us ample time. And if it's not done at that point, we just take them off the agenda.
All right, March 10th, they should have the plans to me. That'll give me ample time to address current applications and to revise this one.
Exactly. I'd like to make this very clear to the commissioners as the secretary here. When you say 5 days, Gary, you have to understand that it applies to every other case. So 10 days is the law. I mean, if you want to do this,
90, no. I meant 5 days prior to the deadline date. So that would be 15 days, which is
Thank you,
March
thank you.
10th would be 14 days. So,
thank you for clarifying that.
yes, that's what I meant. 5 days prior to the 10-day deadline.
I apologize, I misunderstood.
That's what I
So
meant.
here's my suggestion. They were gonna come on February 24th, so they should be ready by February 24th. Let's give them March 24th. Let's give them until February 24th, have the plans in satisfactory to whatever Gary needs to review and okay it. If not, then it gives the board enough time, if they're not ready to proceed, to put another matter on so that the other applicant could do, meet notice, publication, and get their plans in on time. That makes sense?
Makes sense to me.
We're giving them a month, we're actually giving them a little bit more time than they're saying they need at this moment. We'll give them the date, provided everything's in by the 24th and, it's smooth sailing. If not, we'll have an opportunity to give another application that slot.
But this application will stay on the agenda, so will be properly voted on that day for the commission to vote.
March the 24th, Maggie.
Yes, sir, it's been carried.
March 24th, but we're gonna put the attorney on those, if the application is not ready, deemed ready, by February 24th, it's going to be removed from the agenda.
Correct.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Mariconda, let's start with, Donnelly Industries. You wanted to withdraw your reconsideration?
Right, we're withdrawing without prejudice the reconsideration request. We're in the process of revised plans are reflecting, we believe, elimination of any variances other than both variances in the redevelopment zone. So this time we're withdrawing, subject to review of those revised plans again.
Thank you. Mr. LaRocca, would you put it on the record about this, the outcome of this application?
Yeah, number 2, Donnelly Industries Inc., 188-19 Pacific Street is withdrawn without prejudice for the applicant.
Thank you very much. Mr. Maricondo, Chairman Thaxton, let's proceed if it's okay. Let's start with,
With case number 1,
reconsideration for, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Good evening again. Alan Maricondo, 726 Market Street, Paterson, on behalf of the applicant. The application was, one of the commissioners pointed out the fact that the date of the prior hearing was December 2nd of just last year. So this is only about a 6-week time frame. This was a statutory denial, meaning that we had a majority of votes in favor, 4 in favor, 3 against. And we failed to obtain approval based on the supermajority required for the use variance. And what we've done, and NASR's plans have been submitted on a timely basis, we have substantially reduced the size and scope of this application by reducing it from 9 floors to 7 floors and 85 residential units to 68 residential units, and also diminishing some of the interior parking space as well. That's the essence of the modification, which is obviously very substantial. That was the primary concern of the board, the height of the building and the intent and the number of units in terms of its impact on density. So there, it's really straightforward. NASR's available if we needed to post that revised plan, but it's up to council if he thinks it's necessary, but I believe it's pretty straightforward.
I'll let the planner confirm it, but on its face, it sounds like substantial modification that would satisfy the law with respect to being allowed to come back to res judicata. But Mr. Pepperose, do you have any differing opinion on that?
No, I agree, that is a substantial change. Mr. Maricondo, the last revision I have on that from NASR is 12/8/2021, is that the last plan?
I believe so.
Okay. But, if there is a change, Mr. Maricondo, just make sure, if it's something after 12/8, make sure that I get it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I agree, it's, it is a change, looking for reconsideration.
The retail spaces, by the way, would remain the same on the first floor. It's just that 17-unit reduction in number of residential units and 2-story reduction down to 7.
Yes, that is a considerable change.
we need to take a vote.
We need a motion and
Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Absolutely, sir.
wait, before you take a call, we need a motion.
Make a motion to accept the changes, or not changes.
You make a motion to grant reconsideration for it to come back.
Grant consideration, yes.
I second that.
Commissioner Vega was the first motion, seconded by Commissioner Rohim. Commissioners, your vote is Commissioner Barat.
I motion to approve it, yes.
Thank you very much. Commissioner White.
This is for reconsideration, right?
Yeah, this is just to allow.
Yeah.
Yes. I vote yes.
Give me one moment. I have to look in my file. 1 second, please. Mr. Rocco, should I give it a date now? Because I could do that if you like.
Well, go through the motion first.
No, that's,
Okay. Commissioner Furman, approve the reconsideration? Commissioner Furman?
You gotta unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't, by mistake, I was on mute. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Minaudo?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Watkins?
Yes for reconsideration.
Thank you. Commissioner Arenas?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Arenas, please, let's remove that vote. I'd like to go to Vice Chairman Roheen
Yes.
and Chairman Paxton.
Yes, for
I have
reconsideration.
seven votes in the affirmative. Mr. Baraka, is there any need for me to call the alternate, sir?
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
Uh,
So, you could continue, I apologize, sir.
No, Mr. Maracon, our secretary indicated she'd give you a date this evening.
Yes, we're ready.
You're prepared for a date?
We are prepared to take the earliest possible date, sir.
The application of 159 Crooks Avenue LLC, located at 161 Crooks Avenue, was granted reconsideration this evening, January 27th, 2022, and will be carried to April 14th, 2022 at 7:30 p.m.
April 14th,
Yes, sir.
there was no openings in February or March possible?
Unfortunately, sir, no.
Commissioner, Chairman Paxton, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
to speak. I see that, we have given, the first one, reconsideration for March 24th. Why don't we use the March 24th for this application and move the other one to April 14th?
I'd like to explain, okay? We have applications that are new, so we need to give them a space. So when a matter is carried or given a date, they take precedence at this moment. I'm trying to give enough space to everyone coming in, but I also, when a matter is given a date, should have ample time for others to get on as well.
No, I'm not saying to take anything away from anybody. I'm saying you already decided that we decided that case number 4, we're going to hear the case on March 24th. So why don't we give case number 4 April 14th and assign this case to March 24th, since everything seems to be, in my view,
Okay.
and this is a good case.
I understand, sir, but I'm looking at the agenda. I have 3 cases on already. This case that I just put on the 24th, I have 3.
I'm saying substitute it. I'm not
I
saying.
can't because I already have 2 prior applications. And I just put Foreman Ali on March 24th. The only other date that I do have available would be April 14th.
Would it be fair though, if his available spot, the fact that, the other application was moved twice and this one is new, that seems to be ready, and then just giving them a later date when the other one has already had their opportunity?
I understand. This would,
Go ahead, Maggie.
the agenda this is really not something that we could discuss at this moment. I just wanted to explain that we are.
I agree, man. I agree.
We're booked. I have to give some space to the people that are waiting for a date. So when a matter is, I put them where they can so I can open up spaces for the people who have been waiting. I think it's unfair. If you want, the chairman can decide. Only.
It'll stay that way. Let's move
That's
on
right.
to the next case.
All right, great.
Chairman, I have a quick question, if I can have a minute. Madam Secretary, how many applications do we have pending that's waiting for a date?
Excuse me, sir?
How many applications do we currently have pending that's waiting for a date to be heard?
I couldn't answer that because there are a lot, and I'm not there at the moment.
So if there is a lot, shouldn't the list go in order?
Why don't you?
Well, I think the chairman spoke, and as the chairman said, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on, Maggie,
Yeah,
please.
because we'll be here all night. Let's not do this. Let's just keep moving. The chairman spoke, let it stay on
Thank you,
the consent.
Commissioner White.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner White. Let's, Maggie, go to the next case, please. Commissioner, Mr. Maracano, are you ready to proceed with the case?
We are, sir, with respect to
Okay,
49
go ahead.
Mercer Street. We are ready to proceed. I wanted to note that a bulk of the testimony in this case was heard on November 8th. So I would ask either the board stenographer or board secretary if they could verify which commissioners heard that testimony, because it was very substantial. We're back here with some modifications only.
Thank you, Melinda. I'm searching as well. Give me one moment.
Mr. Maracano, is this the property across the street from school number 10?
It is.
Madge, I can help you. I wasn't here at that time, so you can, I didn't hear it, so.
You give me a second, I can check real quick right now.
Yeah, I'm checking as well. Give us a moment, please.
November 8th was taxed Rohim, Arenas, Barat, Furman, and Vega. 6.
Okay.
Repeat that again. Miss Melinda?
Paxton, Rohim, Arenas, Barat, Furman, and Vega.
Thank you very
Was
much.
it only 6 that evening or only 6 now that are here?
They're all present. All of them are present.
Hold on, so there was 6 that evening?
Yes.
Did you order the transcript?
Yeah.
But did you order the transcript?
No, we did not. We elected to go with the 6.
So you're gonna continue going with 6 then to finish it tonight?
Yes, we feel that's ready. We're ready to do that.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanna make sure the record's clear.
No, yeah, no problem. We elected to go with 6 that night, and we feel we can wrap it up tonight.
Okay, perfect, okay.
Thanks
So Madam Secretary, those are the only 6 you're gonna call for the motion.
As far as I know, yes, it's been past practice.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Maracano, call you first witness, please.
I really appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again. For the record, Al Americano, on behalf of MI Enterprise Group LLC. Pastor Manuel Isabel is the primary principal of the LLC. Mr. Bleeker is the architect planner on the project. He testified at length during the first hearing, and he's back here to discuss with you the modifications that we agreed to complete based upon the dialogue we had with the commissioners and extensive work with your board planner, Mr. Paparazzi. So I'll ask that Mr. Bleeker be allowed to proceed at this time. I believe he's sworn but he can be sworn again if you wish. So.
Go ahead, Mr. Go ahead.
Mr. Bleeker, you're still under oath from the prior hearing, that's your understanding, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so would you be able to give the board a review of what we've done to modify this plan, and I believe you'll be posting your plan as well?
That's correct. Yeah, I'd be glad to. I'm sure that the 6 commissioners that actually had the opportunity to hear the testimony of the previous hearing, which was on November 8th, 2021, where we actually presented the whole case, and I was very, very happy with the ability of the board to give us some very, very productive comments, and I think it was an extremely productive meeting in the sense that we actually took those comments that were actually addressed with regards to this project, and we wanted the opportunity to go back and actually make modifications to the drawings because of those suggestions that the board was giving us. We thought they were actually excellent, and we wanted to implement them with this project and then resubmit a revised set of drawings, hopefully for your positive consideration. So what we basically have done from the previous hearing is originally we went in with a project that had 12 units total. And if the board remembers, we actually had a design on the bottom level or the ground floor level where we had basically parking garages. And the garages were typical garages in a residential area where you would back out, onto the street. And that's where I think some of the concerns that the board was having, which we obviously agreed with, was we were backing out on the Keene Street. And because of its location and proximity to school, and with kids and children going back and forth on the sidewalk, the board was very, very concerned with the safety of those children, as we are. And we completely redesigned the site plan based upon those comments, where we don't do that any longer. We actually were able to come directly off of Mercer, and we have one driveway entrance exit, which will be double spaced. And we had originally recreation area down at the ground floor level. We actually took that and put that on the second floor. So therefore, the whole bottom level could be utilized for parking. A number of things happened with that modification. Number one, there is no more backing out on the Keene Street or any street. There also enables Keene Street, as well as Mercer, to have some off-site parking, or basically parking over the curb line. But we're not including that as part of our site plan. But it allows us to do that now because we're not backing out any further out of the garages. Also, we are able to come in full compliance with the parking requirement, where 19 parking spaces are required, and we're able to reallocate the parking on the interior of the site, where we actually provided full 19 spaces. So we reduced the number of units from 12 to 10. We actually are now fully in compliance with the parking, and we don't have any more dangerous situation with cars in conflict with pedestrians walking along the sidewalks on Keene Street. And we took the recreational area off of the ground floor level and put it up on the second floor. The plan I'm showing you right now is actually the proposed site plan, the revised site plan, which shows the ground floor parking that I just indicated. I'd like to just show you now the next floor plan. Okay, if you look at this sheet, which is our A2.0 drawing, on the left is the proposed first floor plan or ground level, similar to the site plan I just was indicating. And on the right side of that sheet is the next floor level up, which is the second floor. And as you can see, we're hatching right now the proposed recreation space, which will be directly accessible from that second floor level. And you would walk out, and you would be able to go out into the recreation area, which is actually, a nice size space, nicely designed space, and it actually works quite well. And then there is one more floor above that, which will be the third floor, which is similar to the second floor. So again, we have 12 full units. 10 units with this proposal, and we are in compliance fully with the parking, 19 spaces.
Okay, Mr. Bleeker, obviously you gave detailed architectural and planning testimony during the course of our last hearing, is that correct?
That is correct.
So unless there's some request from Mr. Paparazzi or any of the commissioners to present any of that testimony, Mr. Chairman, we're going to rely upon our revisions, subject to any questions the staff may have. My client's available if there are any questions for him, but these are obviously changes that have been made with his consent and approval as well.
Gary, do you have any questions of the architect?
Yeah, just a few, Chairman. Mr. Bleeker, for the record, I was going to stop you, but you're on a roll. Date of your last revision for the record, and you put that on the record.
12/23/21, Mr. Paparazzi.
Yes, okay, thank you. That's the same one I have. A couple things. One, at the last meeting, there was a question about snow removal, but now the building occupies the entire lot, so obviously there is no need for snow removal. The first floor, the ground floor, I don't see lighting for the garage. I'm assuming that it was provided. I didn't see it. If you have it, can you point it out to me? Because I didn't see that.
share with us, Mr. Paparazzi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Paparazzi, you're right. I mean, we don't have a lighting plan, shown on the, in the package. But we are obviously gonna adequately light, the whole interior, well above the, minimum foot candle level required, as per ordinance. And they would all be ceiling mounted flush lights, which will be LEDs and would illuminate the whole downstairs garage level. And that, basically those lights stay on almost 24 hours. So, we're gonna have also cameras throughout, and all that will be included when we submit our construction drawings, for, building permit.
Okay, also, Mr. Bleeker, since the building is along the property line on, Mercer and on Keene, I would suggest that you show the, maybe like sconces or whatever kind of lighting there is, on the building to, at least illuminate the outside of the property, since the building is the entire lot.
Yes, we can definitely do that, Mr. Paparazzi, absolutely.
Okay. I also noticed that you reduced the height of the building, to 35 feet. Now, since 35 feet is the maximum, the applicant needs to pay attention to that, because, you know, you're at the maximum with this, building. And, right now, it's not a variance, but, an inch off and you're at a variance condition. So, some detail, maybe some topography during construction might help to ensure that there is no issue with the height.
I agree, you know, obviously can submit a, you know, and the building department generally requires, you know, an as-built after the framing stage is done, just to verify that height. So.
Hopefully that gets done, I agree with that as well. Now, on your elevation sheet, sheet A-1.00, those guardrails and anything along the front of the building on Keene and on Mercer does not project into the past the building. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct. It's an ornamentation.
Okay, and no roof covers, because the building is online, so obviously there can't be any like roof cover by the entrance or anything that projects beyond the building line, because the building line is on the property line.
That's correct. Yeah, we can make sure that that's not, we modify the plan during construction, not to be the case.
It would be good to put a note on that elevation, Mr. Bleeker, that there will be no extension or roof covers that extend beyond the wall of the building, on both Mercer and on Keene, because engineering is concerned about encroachments onto the city right of way.
Right.
Okay, and just one last thing, Mr. Bleeker, on sheet A-2.00, on your prior plan, you had some outside dimensions of the building. And there are no outside dimensions, no total dimensions on this plan. And I assume it's the same, although I think you have a little different design. I also think that you should revise the plan to show, I mean, and this is of course if everything gets approved, to show those outside dimensions of that building.
We will do that, no problem.
Okay. And one last thing, you on the zoning chart, you don't have a minimum front setback on Keene, which is 20 feet, and that's a variance, so you need to list that.
Okay, so then duly noted, you know, the minimum setback should be 20 feet off the Keene.
Right, yeah, and it should be listed, again, this is all if the application gets approved, there are a few things that need to be revised.
Okay, very good.
Okay, I think that is all I have, Mr. Chairman. If any of the commissioners need a refresher on, or any questions, I am able to answer them. Thank you.
Any commissioners have questions of the architect? and then Mr. LaRocca, could you open it up to the public, please?
Good evening, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, this is, Commissioner Furman.
That's okay, it's okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Furman. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. My question is why, the lightning is not shown on the revision that, our planner has?
Just an oversight in that sense. We did revisions and we were concentrating on his recommendations. And that lighting addition to the plan can be submitted, if there's an approval, to the sets of plans that zoning would sign off on before the file goes to engineering. And so we can do that even before it gets to the stage where it gets to the building department.
That's
I'd
correct.
like to make an statement, it's a very nice project, but, around that area, the more lightning we have, the better it can be.
Of course.
Commissioner, I agree completely, and as I agreed at the previous meeting, that's why we did the significant changes. I do apologize for not putting the lighting plan, on the drawing at this point. But as the board knows, I've been doing this almost 40 years, and we've had thousands of buildings built, all over the state, and a lot of them in State County, and majority of them in Paterson. And, we try to do the right thing all the time, and this plan will be, have the proper lighting, way more than adequate lighting, in the volcano requirement is as a minimum standard that the town requires. For the reasons you just mentioned, not only for safety, but also for security.
Understood, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Mr. Chairman,
Any other commissioner?
Commissioner Vega,
Go ahead.
I just want to say things that I'm glad that you actually changed the parking to go into the parking instead of coming out, like having two cars coming out and coming in into one lot or one parking spot. That's actually pretty nice what you guys did there. I'm actually pretty happy about this application right now. Thank you, that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner? Okay, Mr. LaRocca, can you open it up to the public, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The members of the public, if you have any questions of this witness with regard to the revisions he placed on the record and any of his testimony, please call 973-321-1579, and when prompted to do so, enter meeting ID number 711-680-0071. Let's give it a moment and see if anybody calls.
Commissioners and staff, we have no callers at this time.
Okay, Mr. Mariconda, can you, sum up, please?
Bear with me 1 second. Are we on now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Again, we'd like to obviously submit at this point based on the extensive testimony we presented from an architectural and planning perspective last time. And of course, the modifications that Mr. Bleeker addressed this time. We believe we worked in concert with the board planner and the recommendations of your staff and the comments and recommendations of the commissioners themselves to develop a site here that is very much in need of redevelopment and provide quality new housing for the surrounding area, and with a design that ensures safety and protection for the neighborhood. And again, we provide recreation space, which is crucial, and a very, very good parking plan with the changed configuration of the ingress and egress. So we would ask the board's consideration for a motion for approval. Thank you.
Gary?
Yes, Chairman and Commissioners, I didn't go over, the first application had 12 variances, this one was brought down to 10. And obviously, some of the others, were lessened. If there's any questions on the variances, I can answer them. If there is a motion for approval, I would suggest that it is with the condition that, one, the lighting, be shown on the plan, the exterior dimensions of the building, be shown on the plan, as well as the additional variance that was not listed on the zoning chart, be added to the plan. I think,
Cameras.
I think I had, yeah, well, he said there was going to be security, I think, so,
We can add cameras as well.
yes. And, Mr. Maracanda, I didn't ask this, but, I see that you have dumpsters, provided, so I'm assuming that it will be a private wall.
Would be a private hauler in this case, I believe, yes.
Okay, I wanted that as well on the record. So, if there is a motion, I would suggest that it is with those conditions, be made to the plan. And, if there's any questions on the variances, I will answer them, but, it was reduced from 12 variances to 10.
I would like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept and approve the applications with the changes by Gary set forward.
Mr. LaRocca?
Yes.
There are 6 commissioners that have to vote on this, is that correct?
I didn't write that. Was Commissioner Vega one of the 6?
Yes, yes.
Okay, again, Mr. Maracanda, there are some D variances, yes, okay, so five affirmative votes are,
Correct.
okay.
Do we have a second?
Commissioner Furman. I like,
Go ahead, Commissioner.
like to second, the motion. Understanding, my motion is, based on the old conditional made by our planner.
Would you like me to read it into the record, Commissioner?
Yes.
Commissioner Vega?
Yes.
Thank you. Give me 1 second, everyone. Commissioner Vega makes the motion that the application of MI Enterprise Group LLC concerning the premises at 49-53 Mercer Street, Block 3006, lots 19 and 20, to demolish a 2-family dwelling and construct a 3-story residential building with 6 one-bedroom and 6 two-bedroom units.
That's not it, Maggie.
That's not it?
No, it was revised.
Okay, hold on a second.
I would just hold the motion.
12 to 10 units, okay.
That parking and the units are not the same, so I would just hold the motion from Commissioner Vega and second from Commissioner Furman.
So the record's clear, it's a motion to approve based on the revisions that have been placed on the record, the conditions that have been placed on the record and agreed to, they're placed on the record by our planner, agreed to by council. The record's abundantly clear, and we have a motion and we have a second. Let's poll the board with regard to the 6 commissioners who can vote.
Yes, I wanted to ask Mr. Paparazzi before I continue. The first was lighting, I didn't get the second, I did get the additional variances, security cameras.
Let's do the motion and then you can get that from him later.
Okay,
Let's finish the vote.
fine. Commissioners, Commissioner Barat, oh, hold on 1 second, I apologize. Hold on. Yes, Commissioner Barat, your vote, sir.
You're muted, Commissioner.
Yes to approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Furman?
Before I issue my vote, can I please, make a comment, Mr. Chairman, for the record?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say thank you to the architect for thinking about Paterson. You did much better than last time, and therefore, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Not for just thinking about the city of Paterson, but for the people of the city of Paterson as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for your vote, sir. Commissioner Arenas?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Vega?
Yes.
Thank you. And Vice Chairman Rohim?
Yes.
And Chairman Thaxton, your vote, sir.
Yes.
This application has been granted, 6 votes in the affirmative. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Council. Good night, Mr. Weaver.
Good night.
We have minutes?
Any minutes? Is there any other minutes? Business in front of
Yes, we have
besides the minute?
Yes, sir. Mr. LaRocca, you have them?
Give me a moment, I can go. Let you have them in front of you. Hold on one moment.
November 18 and November 30, 7:30.
My computer froze for some reason. I can't seem to.
Must be the cold weather.
We have minutes, commissioners, from the November 18, 2021 meeting. We also have minutes from the November 30th, 2021 meeting. Will someone move the minutes?
There were 3. Am I correct, Miss Melinda? What's the third?
I apologize. So there's 2 specials, November 30th, 2020, 7:30 PM special meeting, and November 30th, 2021, 8 PM special meeting.
That's correct, sir.
Someone move the minutes?
Commissioner Furman,
Aye.
please.
I second that.
Moved by Commissioner Furman, second by Commissioner Vega. Pull the board.
Commissioners, Commissioner Rohim,
Yes.
Commissioner Barak,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Furman,
Yes.
Commissioner Minauro,
Yes.
Commissioner Watkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Arenas,
Yes.
Commissioner Vega,
Yes.
and Chairman Thaxton.
Yes.
The minutes have been adopted.
Marco, were there any resolutions?
There's no resolution for this evening.
We have no further business this evening.
Everyone enjoy their weekend.
Chairman Thaxton, before everyone says goodbye,
Be quiet to that, this
Hold
evening.
it. We have something to discuss for about 5-10 minutes, so please, once we get off the air, just sit still for a minute.
okay, I'm going to get back to you once IT has given me the go-ahead, so please do not speak. Thank you.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.